Hey everyone, I wanted to show you my new Dior palette today. I had a bit of a splurge yesterday and I picked it up, went ahead and picked it up. I've had my eye on it for a long time, but it was $62 and I thought, yeah, I need to kind of wait and see it in person before I order that. So it finally came out at Sephora, so I went in and checked it out and I thought, well, my husband said, get it and review it for your channel, and I'm like, okay, you want me to spend that much? Fine with me. I'm polishing the top of it right now, so it doesn't look so fingerprinty, but here's what it looks like, and it is called Eye Reviver Backstage Pros Palette, and then there's a bunch of French stuff. Illuminating Neutrals Eye Palette. So it had my eye on it for a while. I swatched it in Sephora the other day, and I'm like, yeah, it's not bad. Now the colors in this are very light. This is definitely a neutrals, an everyday type palette, and I'll show you what I really enjoyed about this palette. So here it is. It comes with these 5 very light neutral colors. They're all, this one's a very matte, but the rest of them are a very light satin. Not a shimmer or a heavy thick satin, a very lightweight satin. This one maybe is a little more satin finish than the rest of them, but they're very light satin finish. Now, this last color is not an eyeshadow. That is a black gel liner, and it is matte. I may be thinking that the best part of this palette is that black gel liner. And here's why. It's very matte, and I may completely be in love with this little brush they gave you to put it on. So I'll show you how it went on, and then I'll tell you all about why I'm in love with this little brush. I think what I'm going to do with this beauty is put on sort of a base coat. And that is the lightest color in the palette, and I'm going to put that up here as my sort of highlight base too. And I'm just using the sponge applicator that came with it, because sponge applicators are sometimes good to just spread on a color. They're not going to work in your crease or whatever, but they're good for a lid color or just a base coat like this. And I'm going to put it in here and try to get it real brighter. I'm going to take my little tiny Sigma brush and use this sort of pinkish-ish shade as my crease. Wow, it didn't go on as pinkish purplish as I thought it would, which is a good thing, because I was like, well, do I really want a metallic-y purple in my crease? It's really light and natural, but it's very pigmented. I mean, it's pigmented enough that you can really build it. I don't know, that doesn't really make any sense, but it's building nicely. Alright, next I'm going to do my lid color with a flattish kind of brush. I'm going to do sort of an inner, an inner lid and the outer. So on my inner, I'm going to use this color right here, which is sort of a light beige. It has a tiny bit of a satin finish, a real light satin finish. I'm going to go right in, and then I'm going to do a deeper color toward the outside. Using the same brush, I'm going to do this middle color toward the outside of my lid. It's sort of a light taupe with again, that same satin finish. Middle lid and out. This is going to be pretty. It's going to be really natural, I think. Really light every day. Good for every day. That's what I'm looking for. You should be able to wear this palette every day for as much as you pay for it. Okay, I'm going to do my outer corner. And that is going to be the darkest, because this is a gel liner. It's going to be the darkest color right there. This is not a super pigmented color. It's just kind of there. Very light. On an unrelated note, I had been interested in the Laura Mercier watercolor palette, and I looked at that at Neiman's this weekend, and I am glad I didn't get that puppy, because not only is it, I think, a lot of money, it's 50 or 60 bucks for the palette, but the colors in it are just gray brown. I mean, gray blue. Gray blue. A green blue, a green gray. It's just not pretty. Very muddy, yucky colors. So glad I did not spring for that. Okay. For me. Okay. I'm going to transition a little bit of that crease with this pale, pale grayish taupe. The one that I did on the outer part of my lid. I'm going to put that up here. It's just not really showing too well. This is a really light palette. You know, probably good for every day. So this is a good but very light everyday sort of palette. It is not going to be your drama palette. Very light colors, very similar to each other, sort of. Of course, they're very easy to put on. Of course, they're very silky, and they blend very easily. Just a very light neutral, not even a darker neutral that you could smoke up at all. Very light, similar colors. It comes with a little, you know, a little sponge applicator and a little brush. But what amazed me the most about this palette is that it comes with a little palette of black, very matte gel liner, and it comes with the neatest little brush. I may have been doing my gel liners and just eyeliners in general completely wrong all these years, because I think I needed this little brush. It is a little brush. It is flat. It is pointed. And it's amazing to do your gel liner with. This is like the best cat eye I've ever done in my life. And that's, and it's just, this makes it so easy. It's very pointed. A lot of times for gel liners, I'll use something like this, but this one is much better. Much better. I was able to really get precise. I was able to really get the line clean. And I was also able to get down in my lashes and able to do this part of it very easily. This is a beautiful matte gel liner. It seems to be holding up pretty well, despite me having to put my false eyelashes on about 50 times. So, overall, I like the palette. It's a good everyday colors palette. It's definitely something you could travel with if you were just going to do an everyday makeup, because it comes with its own gel liner. I mean, that's convenient. And then this little brush. I love this little brush. So, you know, when I was putting these colors on, and I did a really light eye with it, a very natural, neutrally eye, I thought, you know, these colors are just not bold enough, or not pretty enough, or not different enough for me to justify keeping this palette. But then I did the eyeliner, and I love the eyeliner. And then it just finished up. It just looks prettier than it did when I was in the middle of it. When you do a real light eye, I've noticed sometimes when you're putting it on, you're like, this is not pretty. I don't like this. This is not the way I want to go. And then when you get it finished up, it's beautiful, especially with a nice black eyeliner. So I will be keeping this palette, and I do love that gel liner, and I especially love the little brush. So good job once again on another palette, Dior, and I'll see you guys next time. And remember, I review so you don't have to.